Agenda! You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Road
Road
Break.
Break. And like any other Friday, you know what this is. We're here for Smackdown, and are you ready for some bullshit?
Bullshit.
Yep, we're right
Yep.
back. Thank you,
And
family.
this.
Go ahead.
No. Thank the family first before I get into it, because the smell of bullshit was fresh on this episode tonight.
Alrighty then. Thank you so very much, family, for being with us this Friday night. Like I said, April 24th, 2020. And we hope that, like I said, like the weekend is approaching, but unfortunately that it hasn't felt, like the weekend for like what, like 2 months already.
Hey,
With all the days.
every day feels like the weekend because nobody's going to work. You can just stay in your pajamas all day. You pretty much, if it wasn't for wrestling, we probably wouldn't know what day of the week it was.
It's true. It's true. Actually, that point that he just made is absolutely the truth because I know that it's Friday because SmackDown is on. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. But Jean Paul, thank you every single one of you that are watching, subscribers. Thank you so very much for all the good reception that we're having for our episode. Jean Paul had some gameplay. We had Dynamite. We have NXT tonight for the people watching. BCTV, like 1:15 a.m. Right, like ECW time, or right when like there's like Nights of Climax on Cinemax, right, the time when like the movie, like the adult movies are on. Raw Break will be on too, so like you can flip flop if you guys decide to do so. And we're gonna be with like Jean Paul interviewing Vince Steele one more time. So for everybody that is watching that, thank you so very much to John Ferdina for giving us that opportunity, to everybody in the Reading area and PA. Jean Paul, tell us, like, why is it smelling like bullshit? What's
Yeah,
going on?
like, I mean, the show, this definitely wasn't the worst SmackDown that we've seen since the move to Fox, but there's just nothing really, like, to me, that great happened on the show. I was kind of excited for the Fiend and Braun Strowman build, and all we really got was like a video package, kind of just showing their history. We really didn't see the Fiend or anything like that. So that really wasn't that exciting. Tag team stuff that was more, cringy than good. And the main event, which, I mean, there was a Vince McMahon sighting, and I'm can't believe I'm going to say it, but it was the most legit thing on the show.
It was like Jean Paul said, when Vinnie Mac wants to be legit, he's
Yeah,
legit. But what happens with Vinnie Mac?
yeah,
He's
he has
never
like his like legitness for like an entire year is like a 30-second egg timer. He only gets like 30 seconds. Like,
and like the bars already. Yeah, it's like as long as he came out, he's
yep,
like done, move on. But
yep.
like
He's
at
like,
least you
oh,
see,
no more legit till 2021.
yeah, like well, and also like that like they had like the conference call yesterday from WWE, a lot of announcements. No WWE 2K21. Thank God we
And
have that on the channel. Like Jean Paul already said, and like if they're not gonna have a playable game, I don't
and
care.
this is and now while you're on that subject, this is the one thing I want to make clear for the family. When people are like, "Why don't you guys play 2K20?" And for the loyal, the faithful viewers who know that we have played 2K20 on the channel as well, and now we're playing 19, is because 20 is bullshit. So
Yes.
we stick with 19. It's the more playable game, and clearly everyone agrees that's why there's no 2021.
Well, yeah, that,
So
and also Jean Paul. There's like a little bit of news. Like we will be elaborating a little bit on NXT when we cover NXT next week because there's a little bit of something with the Velveteen Dream. That's a developing story, but that's why we're not touching on that. We'll have like special things coming
yep.
up this weekend, so
And if
stick
you do
around.
want to see what is known so far, and if you guys follow us on social media, we already posted the news article, so you would have already seen it.
Thank you again, Jean Paul, for that. So let's cover SmackDown, Mr. Leek. SmackDown opened up with a freshly crowned, with a brand new tag team champions for the 8th time, the New Day. So, everybody at home, don't you dare to be sour because like Big E and Kofi Kingston are coming out.
Don't you
Or
dare reach for the remote and change the channel. We promise the show will get better. And they
don't you
lied.
dare to like, let us be tag team champions one more time because,
Yep.
we're tired of it. Absolutely, right, Jean Paul. So they come out and then they're pretty much saying that they have more title reigns than like Edge and Christian, Demolition, the New Age Outlaws, that one pains me, and more. And then, of course,
How does the New Age Outlaws pay you more than Edge and Christian?
Because I've always been a fan of the Road Dogg. People that
no, you smell right like SmackDown.
Oh yeah, it is true. It is true. It is true. I like people hate that I always got a I will say admiration for the Road Dogg. I like.
Yeah, we saw your boy tonight, man.
It is, yeah.
He looked rough.
He looked like a bum, but it's fine.
That dog looked like it's been down the road. Let me just say that.
That dog looks like he's about to like be done. You know,
Yeah.
like the old Yeller. So like if somebody wants to take out of his misery, go ahead. So Lucha House Party, Jean-Paul, a tag team that is good, but of course they're portrayed like absolute trash. You know, they're as trashy as those piñatas that they carry.
I was gonna say they're portrayed as like a dollar store piñata filled with bullshit candy. That's exactly. What Vince McMahon portrayed them as.
Yes, exactly. So they come out. So to our surprise, and they're the first one to congratulate the New Day. And Dorado says, "What's not lucha lit?" Because they said, "What you guys being champion is lucha lit. What's not lit is that we've been sitting in the back and watching other teams get opportunities." And they wanted to challenge for those titles, but before they're able to do so, Miz and John Morrison come out and they walk right past them. It's like, and that tells you how how they see them. It's like, hey, move out of the way, dude. Move out of the way. So they did it. They did say the New Day's win was cheap, and they didn't deliver the titles. Morrison said that like they never been beaten on a 2-on-2 match, and they want their titles back, and they want them tonight. So the Lucha House Party battle in, and then Metal League starts speaking Spanish, and he pretty much demanded a title shot. That's all he said, because then like the Miz goes like, I don't know what you said to Morrison. He's like, what did he say? And he's like, oh, he's saying that you're a great fighter, and then he's like, you're legit. And he's like, oh no. And Big E's like, that's not what he said. So for the ones that didn't know what he said, that's what he Metal League said. He's like, we deserve a title shot. End of the story. So now Forgotten Sons come out, Jean-Paul. A tag team that is being forgotten in NXT, and I don't know why they put them on SmackDown. So they Miz us, who the hell are they? So Cutler said, introduce them. He said they're actually served this country. They continue to introduce themselves, and they soon resulted in a brawl as the Miz and Morrison and Lucha House Party left, and then the Forgotten Sons laid out on Kofi Kingston and Big E with a power bomb and also like a diving elbow from the top rope. That was pretty much this first segment of the show. So Jean-Paul, your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a couple things to touch on here. I agree 100% with the Lucha House Party. To me, they're legit. Even, putting Kalisto in this mix, all three of them guys are so legit. And they don't get opportunities. We saw what they did at Hell in the Cell. That was, crazy. Or Elimination Chamber. I'm sorry. Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I'm sorry. Elimination Chamber. So that was legit. And, they deserve an opportunity. I mean, I even think they should get a run with the belts. I think it should be when there's crowds, because I feel like their moves and everything really, like, they'll seem more over when the crowd is cheering them for all their high-flying, crazy moves. So start portraying them good now, and then by the time we get a crowd, maybe crown them champions. And then the other thing is with Miz and Morrison, what do you think about that? How, like, they say, like, hey, we didn't lose the titles, we keep getting screwed. Yeah, I mean, everything is true, yeah. Like I said, elimination chamber, and then we had the ladder match, and then this match, and Michael Cole on commentary, he's like, "Oh, I don't know why the Miz is so upset about the match at WrestleMania. John Morrison won; he didn't have to wrestle." I'm like, because the dude had freaking coronavirus. That's why you have to like they're just really trying to sell that story where like Morrison does all the work and the Miz is the freeloader. So when they eventually split, that can be the storyline and the feud. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. You can get that over, but you don't need to be so like obvious and obnoxious. Like they force storylines, and it's like it's total bullshit.
It's not good. I will say that, and like you said this week verbatim. You said the same thing. It's like, well, of course they're going to be pissed because, like, they defended the titles at the Chamber, won. They defended titles on Mania, won. Why they keep defending the championship? Yeah. Is this the 24/7 belt? No. Yeah. And also, all the stipulations never demanded a traditional tag team match. So why will they be, happy in losing the titles in a different fashion when it was a triple threat? So I agree with them, and I told you I was not happy to see the title change.
Oh, I
didn't want
not
that.
At all.
So now, Jean-Paul, let's actually go to like the first match of the Money in the Bank qualifiers, and it's going to be Drew Gulak against King Corbin. Woo! What a great match this is going to be, right? So we got a video package from King Corbin attacking Elias, beating him up with he beat him with the scepter. He beat him with the guitar. He beat him and then Michael Cole is just adding saying that Elias can even sing or play his guitar. So we
Oh
feel so
no.
bad. It feels too bad to be Elias. What do you think about the match?
I mean, the ending. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Baron Corbin. He's not bad. He was okay in NXT. The way they booked him down there, used him on the main roster though. Garbage. Everything that he's been. I'm not saying he's garbage, but everything that he's been put in has been awful. He hasn't been in a good storyline that I can remember, and this definitely isn't going to be one of them. I think you should have gave Drew Gulak the win. I know you have Daniel Bryan in there, but maybe they didn't want to put both of them in the match because they're both kind of like friends, working together. But I think he would have had a better time to shine because, Corbin was in it last year. Corbin already won it. The guy's been in it enough. Why do we need to see Baron Corbin in it? And why are also Nakamura and Cesaro helping Corbin? I mean, I know Sami Zayn doesn't like Daniel Bryan, but that Sami Zayn wasn't even out there.
And where's Sami Zayn? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, maybe he's not traveling and they have these other guys and they're like, well, Corbin's a loser, so we always like to stick 2 lackeys with him, so then we'll put our other 2 sets of lackeys because Dolph Ziggler's he broke free from being a lackey and he's doing his own thing and Bobby Roode's on the back of milk cartons. Have you seen this man?
I don't know where's he being glorious, but definitely not in WWE. It actually shocks me that he wasn't even cut.
Yeah.
In the releases, because where's he at?
The only reason that they didn't cut him is because he's still a draw. I mean, Rusev is, and some of these other guys, if you portray him like that, but Bobby Roode being cut, that would have been AEW immediately, Impact immediately. You know what I mean?
You know what it would have been. You know what it would have been. NWA Power, and then what else would have been? Beer Money, baby.
That would have been legit.
You know that. It would have been Beer Money, but you're right. I agree 100% with you. Why? Because I was thinking Drew Gulak is at least this Money in the Bank, aside of Bryan and Mysterio, have been different names. So it seems, it's going to be a new thing.
Yeah, and
I was thinking Gulak, it would have been good.
It's okay. Yeah, and I mean, I hope it's Otis. And now Dolph Ziggler, if you want the best quality of match, you put Dolph Ziggler in there because he's more athletic, he can do more. But if Otis wins, it just adds a whole dynamic. Look at this guy. You got all these crazy athletes. I mean, Corbin's kind of middle of the ground bullshit. And then, Otis, but he's just this big, beefy tank. So, that would be cool if he gets in. But like you said, it's all fresh, new people. Mysterio's the veteran in there. And then it's Corbin.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean. So I was rooting for Gulak in the end because the same thing you said about King Corbin. He's not a bad wrestler. He has a good set of moves. The character is absolutely obnoxious. He's absolutely,
it's one of the worst characters. It's probably the worst character that's been presented in a main, stream way.
Yes.
That WWE's created in the last 5 years.
Yes, and you know what it is? A lot of it is 90% of that is also the long feud, 9 months, the whole birth of your child with Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
That's what for me killed the guy because after winning the King of the Ring, he was good. A lot of people were seeing him in a different light. No, go to Roman Reigns, be bullshit again. So Nakamura and Cesaro grabbed Daniel Bryan, let him getting him out of the action. So that kind of distracted Drew Gulak. He's looking out, of course, playing the dumb baby face. So he's okay, bro, what's going on? Not bro, Matt Riddle. This is just bro. So then, of course, King Corbin distracts, and also he takes advantage of that. So he does the end of days, 1, 2, 3. King Corbin gets added to the Money in the Bank qualifying match.
And the one thing, again, like I said, Corbin has been put in bullshit feuds and storylines. Legit finisher, though.
Oh, no, I love that. I told you, the end of days is legit. The Div 6, he executes that move perfectly. So, again, good moves. The guy, like you said, is a good wrestler, but, his character is so dumb.
Oh,
it's so despicable, I will say.
Yeah.
So, So, after the match, Cesaro and Nakamura held Gulak, and then Baron Corbin like knock him out with the scepter one more time, and then Sami Zayn he might be still out. Because where the hell is going on with Sami? We want to see our IC champion, right, Jean Paul?
Exactly.
So we get another thing about a great 24/7 champion in Gronkowski, and he was traded to Tampa Bay, and then they mentioned that because he's probably going to have to defend that title with other football players because his career.
I'm sure because they have something with Fox on one of these games on Fox, maybe like the 4:30 game or something like that. He's going to be playing, and it'll be halftime, and it'll just be like, oh, let's go to the Patriots. Already at Patriots. Let's go to Tampa Bay's locker room. And then R-Truth will be in there dressed as, like, a referee or, like, the water boy or something. He'll be like, oh, let me get your towel, Gronk. And he'll roll him up, and it'll be like...
And done.
Yeah.
And done. So, of course, yep.
And it probably won't even be at halftime. They'll film it because halftime, legit, they need to go over game stuff. They'll probably film it on, like, a Thursday.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then,
exactly.
Be like, oh, yeah, boop.
But they will air it during halftime. Absolutely. So now, Jean-Paul, we move on to Sheamus and Enhancement Talent. What was this? 3 seconds. A few of Sheamus's moves, few punches, the bro kick, and done.
Yeah.
And nothing really to elaborate from here. But we get another episode of the Jeff Hardy's his whole push, the comeback it was, or this was the redemption. So he gets a whole video package of the WrestleMania 33 appearance. That was legit. We watched that together. You remember?
Oh, yep. That was so legit.
Yeah,
that was one of the first things that I spoiled for, because now you read all these spoilers for wrestling and this and that. That was one of the first things I saw. It's like Hardy's rumored to return, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is legit or if this is bullshit. And then it's like, oh, as soon as the New Day were like, this is a fatal 4-way, it's like it's done. It's done.
Yeah, and then I remember and then do it was good. It was good. I remember that. See, when the Hardys came back to WWE, it was really good. But then, of course, the shenanigans happened, and then Matt portrayed like shit, and then, of course, Jeff also not.
I think they got hurt. I think one of them got hurt. Like
first, it was Matt.
Yeah, early on in the tag reign, like they won the belts, and then it was like, oh, you're hurt. And then I think they won them again, didn't they? And then one of them got hurt in the title match that they won.
Yeah, well, it was last year during this time. Yeah. During this time, they beat the Usos, and they became the SmackDown Tag Team Champion, and Jeff Hardy got injured, and then he was out all this time. So you can tell,
you laugh at it, but it's really sad because it's like, look at that. That's two, fresh opportunities. They could have had a legit title reign, and it's like, so...
But the one thing is at least not having Matt in the picture. They gotta push Jeff as a singles guy because every time that Matt has been in the picture, they always think that Jeff has always been the best guy, the better man out of the two. And I think Matt is good. Yeah. But AEW, not really cashing in on how good Matt can be.
And this is the one thing I always was, whenever it comes to tag teams, I'm always like, no, I think the tag team is more legit and should have more respect. Because when I saw Jeff do single stuff, I was like, it's legit, but I always liked him better in the tag team. But then watching, really watching his stuff again, watching his stuff like an Impact, Jeff Hardy to me is just as legit in a singles role. So like you said, hopefully since WWE, they don't have Matt no more, they're like, hey, let's actually use Jeff, because we see Matt wasn't loyal. He jumped. Who's not to say Jeff doesn't jump? Let's use this guy while we can, while he's still legit.
Yeah, the last few, the last few things, he has in him, the last few, maybe 2 years that he has in him, let's kind of use him as the full potential. So now we go, Jean-Paul, to Miz and Morrison against the Lucha House Party. Sheamus was still right there. We're still right there, so he attacked Michael Cole. He grabbed the headset.
I think they were talking about Jeff Hardy, how they're like, oh, this is legit. Because that's clearly going to be the feud. They're going to do the last chapter next week. And, Sheamus is going to come out. He's going to say, hey, I'm sick of this fella. I'm calling him out, blah, blah, blah. And then Jeff Hardy's going to appear, and then that's going to be the match. Maybe for Money in the Bank, they'll book it. I mean, hey, I don't know. If you book it at Money in the Bank, whatever. To me, the build hasn't been that long. But, WWE, they don't care. They'll book it the week before.
And also, but see, then, Jean-Paul, then you're going to have to make Sheamus lose. Because you're not going to do all these video packages for Hardy to to lose. So, but then you're sacrificing Sheamus for no reason. Then
after all those video packages, to me, I would have done all these. I wouldn't have had Otis and Ziggler in this. I would have had I mean, maybe you could, if you want Ziggler to be in the match, you could have had Ziggler versus like Jeff, and then you could have Jeff gonna win, and Sheamus comes out and beats him up.
Yeah, yeah,
Kicks his ass and is like, oh, blah blah blah. Then he looks strong, and then then that kind of starts the feud.
Exactly. So, well, this match, it was actually not too bad between Morrison, the Miz, and the Lucha House Party. The Lucha House Party are a good tag team.
They're so legit. Like, everything in the ring. I mean, and even, talking earlier, Lince Dorado, he wasn't the worst.
You know what it is, though, Jean-Paul? Lince Dorado is not Mexican. People don't know that. Lince is Puerto Rican. So, of course, he knows English. Yeah, Lince is like Puerto Rican. Like, only Metal League is Mexican. So that's why, that's why he carried the microphone.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's definitely worse people on the microphone who get pushed. So it's like, push these guys. They're all the talent in the world.
Oh yeah, like it's just like no.
Like a match. See, and that's the thing. It should be like Zelina Vega, where it should be like Andrade's the world champ, Angel Garza is the mid card champ, and then the Lucha House Party's your tag champs.
And that will be
the manager. Yeah,
that will be the legit stable. Yeah, it will be like good. Like, but of course, like they see him as like an enhancement talent. At least this time they saw them in a different light and actually got the win because Metal League reversed out the skull crushing finale and then they got the win. So Jean Paul and I, we both pop. It's just because these guys are good promoter wrestling, and where's Kalisto though? I want a Kalisto. I want the Lucha Dragons again.
It could be the traveling thing.
It might be.
Anytime we don't see somebody who we should, I'll always go traveling. But then again, he wasn't there with them at Elimination Chamber or any of that stuff. Any of that build, he wasn't there. So
maybe
he's done. Maybe he's done.
Maybe they fought, or like he's hanging out with Sasha Banks and her family. But like Sasha was already there. So where's Kalisto? Why do I say that Sasha Banks was already in the building? Because she had the qualifying match in Money in the Bank against so traditional Lacey Evans. This one was a good match. I will tell you that. For the girls, like it was pretty good. Yeah,
Lacey Evans can go. Like I said, every time I see her wrestle, I mean, some matches they just aren't good because they're only 5 minutes. But when she has time to go, she can wrestle. Sasha Banks is legit. That's already been said. And I think for all storyline purposes, with Bayley and Sasha continuing their storyline and this and that, I think the right person won.
Oh yeah, like see, like they keep teasing that, and I'm enjoying this whole build. It's really good. They're doing finally, and see that bothers me in a way. And why does it bother me? Because when they want to do something right, they can get it right. Mm-hmm. But they just choose to not to. He's like you know how to produce great stuff, and you just choose not to all the time. Because see, again, match was good. Sasha was attacking Moxley. Like there was a spot that like Lacey was going to do the women's right, and then she ended up hitting the ring post. So that's why, like, she was like all hurt, like the hand was like all like they were working.
Yeah, it was all done.
Yeah, it was all done, and then she kept like taking advantage, and she kept elaborating on that situation. But then there's a point where like she hits the women's right, and then she's about to pin Sasha, and then like Bayley helps Sasha out because she put her foot on the rope. And it's like, and she goes, ring awareness.
Yeah, I was like, that's legit. Yeah,
it's like, ring awareness. Oh, we're good. And then Sasha ends up putting the bank statement on Lacey Evans, but Bayley took forever to go down. And because she was extracting the ref, and like she takes forever, and the ref
Sasha got like a 5 count.
Yes. And then when Bayley finally goes out of the ring, that's when like Lacey kind of like counters, and then she rolls her up, and then she hits the women's right, 1, 2, 3, and the person that advances to Money in the Bank is actually Lacey Evans. And you could hear Sasha was already pissed off. She's like, "You fucked that up." Pretty much,
she was screaming for the ref the whole time, and Bayley's just on the apron like so.
Yep, and then you can see the tension is still building. You can hear the tension to the point that Tamina comes out and she took Bayley down with a super kick as she was leaving. I don't know why she cannot do another move, but now we get to see that like a little thing from Superfly. Because like that's the only thing she does, the super.
And you know what flies? Hover around?
Bullshit. Yep, that's right. So and then we go, Jean Paul, to the promo from Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, because of course they're gonna have a match on Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship. But like Jean Paul mentioned, like we wanted kind of like something more elaborated. Rather than that, they gave us just a piano, so the piano and just a kind of like a recap from Corder like story together, like how they
Yeah.
were Wyatt family, how the evolution of Braun Strowman without the Wyatt family, and all of that. Are we excited about this? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's like I said. You could have did it a lot cooler. Maybe at Strowman. Again, maybe go to the Fun House. We've seen some people go there, like Seth Rollins, John Cena. You could have did something like that. They kind of teased it, with the mask, last week or whenever that was, and it was like, oh, okay, that's a little something, but it was kind of more cringy than anything. And this, it was kind of just like lazy. I mean, maybe there's still, another Friday to go, so like we'll see what they do. But I'm excited for it if it just ends with the Fiend being the champion. If Braun Strowman also beats the Fiend, forget it. Forget it.
Oh gosh, yeah, that will be bad. That will be bad.
Forget
that
it.
Will,
then just for Fiend.
To me, is right or wrong. That you have the situation. I don't care if you're a lefty, right or wrong.
Yeah, because there's all these reports from so many credible people that say everybody backstage didn't want Goldberg to win. Goldberg was pushing for himself because he's the biggest mark for himself that ever existed.
More than we are. More than we are.
Well, we're not marks for Goldberg.
No, but marks for Goldberg we are.
Oh, well, that, yeah. But, yeah, so, like you said, right the wrong. It's like, hey, Goldberg messed up, but... No.
Yeah, and going just elaborating 2 minutes on that. Yeah, even Bray Wyatt said, I don't think it's the right idea. I don't think it's the right idea.
Well, why would he? That's taking money out of his pocket. Why would he think that's the right idea?
Well, but but at least but he did a job. It's like, but dude, it's like, hey, it's a bullshit idea.
Well, it's probably a thing where he said, if you don't give me the belt, I'm not going to do the show. And if the Saudi prince said, if we don't have Goldberg, you're not getting your 10 million or whatever he gets a show. So then Vince was like,
yeah,
so you gotta drop the belt.
Pretty much that's what it had to be. And also talking about Saudi Arabia, they're not going to go to Saudi Arabia for the time being. They said like there's no plan whatsoever to go over there because of the situation.
Don't be jealous because you don't get wrestling.
Yeah,
good. I hope they never go back. That's I'm not saying those people don't deserve to watch wrestling, but we don't need those crappy shows. Go over there and maybe do a house show, but don't publicize it. Don't make it a big deal. Don't build for it.
Oh yeah, it's a situation where you're putting you win less than what you actually win.
And with everything that happened when they went over there and they were holding them hostage and all that other stuff, not even pandemic related. It's not worth it.
It's just not worth it. Don't jeopardize the security, the well-being, of your superstars. At least Vince, I hope he understands that. We're gonna get to Vinnie Mac in a little bit. Before we gotta do tag team women's championship match. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross going against Carmella and Dana Brooke. This was Jean Paul. Of course, he falls asleep because he has legit hatred for the goddess. But I did watch. So the match was really simple. 5 minutes.
Oh, really? A match with Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Dana Brooke was simple?
Well, I'm not able to. That's right. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna defend the undefendable. Undefendable. Yep. There you go. And
that's a new stable for those three women, the Undefendables.
The Undefendables, yep. And Nikki Cross stays out because she's the only good wrestler out of the
she tries to defend them, but no.
Nope, it's absolutely right. So for Alexa and Nikki retain, they debuted kind of like a new finisher. I did enjoy that. It was like a face first, falling into like a DDT. Like Alexa grabbed her head and everything.
That's the only thing I will give them applaud for, because I hate when it's like, oh, Nikki Cross does 90% of the work. She hits the neck breaker, rolls out of the ring after tagging in Bliss.
And then you go like this.
Yep, and then it's like, then Jean Paul changes the channel. I go in the corner and I cry.
And I'm actually pop, and I'm actually like,
and then
that is fun.
Like,
yeah.
He's doing
I'm like, yep.
Yeah, but no, I mean, tag team finishers to me are legit, and if you're going to be a legit team, you need a tag team theme song, you need a finisher, and you need to come out kind of wearing similar looking gear. You need to look and feel like a tag team, and that's the
only thing they need to do in that regard then is like they only need to kind of like come up with their own theme song. Although they went with Alexa's, and it's whatever, because of course they don't see anything good in me.
No, and you love it. Don't lie. You love that.
I do. It's na. So
As soon as you hear that, you know you're like Jean Paul as he's in tears.
oh yeah, it is the truth. Hey, I have no reason to deny that. So Alexa, hey, all the love, support. She had a post about like her eating disorders and everything. So I was sending all the love. I'm like, just watch Rubric. You will like enjoy yourself. And I said, Jean Paul is just a bad co-host. It's all good. No, Jean Paul.
Yeah.
All the love. So Bliss puts Mela down, and then Carmella stopped Bliss on the top rope. Cross tag herself, and as Mela hit like a hurricanrana, then Cross got a near fall on Mela, and then tag Bliss again, and then Mela kicked Cross twice because, well, Carmella does a nice super kick, I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
But then Cross and Bliss hit like I said, modified like DDT for the win. It was like the 3D, but like instead of like doing the cutter at the end, Alexa kind of made it into a DDT.
Yeah.
So like it was legit. It was legit. At least it's something new, like you said.
Oh yeah.
Something that you said in the interview we had with the unbreakable Lexi Gomez. If you're watching, hey, how you doing? Like you said, if you pull out like a different move every time, at least the crowd will pop. In this case, there's no crowd, but at least I pop. You were like coming out of the bathroom. So anyway, Triple H 25th year celebration. This took like 25 minutes of the show.
Are we at the main event already? Like, I mean, hey, like everything that happened tonight was kind of uneventful. It really wasn't that legit. And then it's like, they're like, the Triple H, this and that. And I thought it was gonna be something like super legit. Like he comes out there, maybe they play his theme. He's got the music. It's legit highlight package, this and that. And instead, to me, it was kind of more like a joke. I mean, some of it was funny, like. Some of it was a little cringy, a little bit like, I mean, I blame bad acting on, certain people's parts for that. But, I mean, to me, like I said, Vince McMahon coming out at the end of this made the segment. But, yeah, this was a pretty long main event, and it felt long, I thought, until kind of the end.
It felt a little long just because, like you said, some of the stuff was funny, yes. Some of the stuff was like a little cringy. No crowd, even Michael Cole, Corey Graves, they were already gone. So it was just Triple H. He comes out. I don't know. You picked up on that. The one dude was walking as he's coming out, and like I think he was like in charge of the camera or the lighting, and he's like walking. And Triple H is like, he's like, dude, he's like, what the hell? So he comes out. He starts like talking about like his career, and then Shawn Michaels came out. Shawn Michaels says, hey, we've had 25 years. Remember when we had my 25th anniversary?
Can I just say this too? I'm used to Shawn Michaels now without long hair, but I still don't like it.
A lot of people hate it.
I don't want to say hate it because it was the same thing with Triple H for a while. To me, when I think Triple H, I think the long hair. But now when I see him bald, I'm like, I got used to it. I know I'll get used to it with Shawn, but I mean, it's just when you think of Shawn Michaels, you think of the long hair.
I guess like it takes a lot of time for people to get used to. Like to me, it's okay because for example, like Metallica did the same thing when they cut their hairs. There's like these assholes of the Stone Cutters. They do like videos on that crap. So anyway, but I think it's a matter of getting used to it. To me, Shawn Michaels like
to me he's still legit.
He's
as a wrestler. He's
he always has to make it about himself, and I kind of like believe it. Like in this, I don't know if it was, but he was trying to make it about himself. Oh, he's like, hey, you got a legit career, but remember when we did this? It's like okay, like talk about.
I think that was the joke. I think they're all. It's like one big joke. Like, hey, people say Shawn's all about himself, so let's have him go out here and be about himself, and it's like a joke.
Yes. So that's what they talk about. Remember, they said, "Oh, let's look about like the legit moments of your career," and we saw a lot of moments like the DX. That we saw Hunter Hemsley, that we saw Jean Paul, all of those things. We saw like the game, but then he goes like the best part to me that I was laughing is like, oh, you did so many good things in WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was
you're better than me. And then the only losses.
Yeah, it's like Warrior, Kane, Taker, Cena,
Seth Rollins, Rousey,
done.
Yeah, like Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista, all the losses. So that was funny. And then how he came back on 02. Remember when he tore his bicep and all of that, and so it was cool on that. And then Stephanie called, and he's like,
oh, because Shawn was like, yo, I mean, I thought they were gonna go somewhere with this, like legit. For a second until his phone started to ring, and then I was like, it's done. When Shawn was like, oh, you were legit until you got with her. And I was like, are they doing a storyline where he's like, your woman is bullshit, and then they feud? And I'm
Yeah.
like, because I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I really want to see that. To me, that's like out of the blue. Like that would be like a desperate, try to save ratings. And then, like you said, then his phone started to ring, and I'm like, oh God, Stephanie's calling him, and this is all a joke.
And his old Skype, yeah, and it's like, oh, hey, honey, how you doing? Or like it was just a video call,
Yeah.
and he's like, hey, he's like, why is Sean saying all those stuff? And he's like, what stuff? He's like, oh, I'm watching live.
Yeah,
And like,
it's
I'm
like,
seeing him.
and then Sean's like mocking her, and she's like, Hunter, don't be bullshit. I see him mocking me on TV right now, and he's like, he's not mocking you. And Sean's like, yeah. And he's like,
And then he hangs up on her. He's like, oh, here's Steph says hi. And then of course we got Nature Boy Ric Flair. That was all. That was a little better for me when he called. He's like, hey man, it's a happy 25th anniversary. Blah blah blah. And he starts crying. And I think he lost it because Flair. We did a video on Flair, so like he's still.
Flair's legit. Like I said, I mean, hey, he maybe did get emotional. Or like maybe he was hitting the Ric Flair drip a little too hard, and he was like, "Yeah, I gotta go. I got my wife and 3 other women in the other room." RVD was teaching him a thing or two. You can have more than one.
That's
so
true.
He was like, "I gotta go to the other room," and
That's true. And then we got the Road Dogg.
Space Mountain.
Yeah, Space Mountain once again, and then we got the Road Dogg, like I said, looking like a bomb, and then he pretty much blew him off. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? And congratulations."
He's like, "Oh, I would have colored my beard if you would have told me."
He's like, "Are you live?" Yeah. Oh, all right, man. Yeah, bye bye. And
he's
then
like, I'll put pants on.
Then the biggest surprise being McMahon. So that was cool. Like again, he was in cool mode because nobody kind of sees that anymore.
Well, what did I tell you? He has 5 minutes maximum of legitness for a whole year. He's like, I'm going to use it tonight for my son-in-law, Paul. No, never. For, Paul Levesque. So, Triple H was stealing my gimmick. And, he was like, hey, I'm going to be legit tonight. And everything he said, that's the thing. He acknowledged a lot of bullshit, and he admitted it was bullshit.
Yeah. He said a lot of segments like Katie Vick. He said Katie Vick was like bullshit. He was like, poor taste. Poor taste. That was very poor taste, Paul. And also he said, remember, this is like Bailey, this is your life. That was crickets. Those were crickets for the whole segment. Nobody popped. And he said, well, that wasn't Bailey's fault. So he did acknowledge a little bit of things. So to me, it's like the old man, he does.
Yeah, and the gobbledygooker.
Yeah.
Like, that was so bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does acknowledge this stuff. But
and I love how they say all that stuff. It's pretty much like they weren't. I mean, they did say, 14-time world champ, this and that. But they pretty much just acknowledged like all the bullshit that happened in his career, and then they're pretty much just like, yeah, Triple H, your career is bullshit. Yeah. Like it was all like a joke. They made like the whole thing kind of like more of a joke, which to me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is bad. Like oh, I just wanted to like be a Triple H fanboy. To me, it was like they built it as a ceremony, like a celebration of his 25 years. But it's like they knew that there was no crowd. It's like, this wouldn't be legit as it could be, so let's just have fun with it.
Exactly, and that's the main word. They had fun with it. It was not a big deal. Hey, and we all know what Triple H. Whether you like it, you dislike him, the guy, like I said to you in the text, or I think I put in one of our platforms. I said the guy eats, breathes, everything he does is professional wrestling.
This is the one thing I will say to every single person on the planet and beyond. If there is more, that calls himself a fan of pro wrestling, I'll say, I'll be like, you might not like Triple H, but you have to admit, if he wasn't here, the wrestling world would be worse off with everything he's done. And if they disagree, then they're not a real fan.
Exactly, and that's the one thing. Triple H is a guy that loves the business that much that he's really expanded. His legacy is not only his career.
Yeah. You might hate Triple H and the fact that he buried all these other wrestlers and did all this stuff, but if you love people like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, why are they mainstream? Because of Triple H. If you love anybody who was legit in NXT and is, legit moving forward, and even the people who were legit in NXT and are bullshit on the main roster, Triple H it's not his fault. He made them legit in NXT. So pretty much anything NXT, you have to thank Triple H.
You gotta thank Terra Rising for it.
And if you like Batista, boom. Randy Orton, boom.
Evolution. DX, everything, and again, I will say I'm a fan. Yes, I'm a fan of Triple H because I grew up with Triple H. My first memories of Triple H is
That
like when I
was
was
their
11.
yeah. That was their bullshit things like Booker T, Mick Foley. Yes,
Yeah, it
stuff
was,
like
but
that.
you can't deny that the guy he loves something that we love, and I will never hate on
Yeah,
anybody
and
that loves
also
that.
one thing I will say, like at the biggest show, the biggest payday, you could say, if you want to go to like the real side of it, the biggest day of making money, we see that Triple H is more times on his back than having his hand held up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
clearly he's not that bad of a guy if he's putting all these people over at
When
WrestleMania.
when he has to lose, he has to lose, and he's done it for so many people. Maybe not for
The
Booker.
only one that I will say that really to me was bullshit at WrestleMania was Sting.
Oh, that one was like for a lot of people. For all the ones that he's lost, that one was the one that everybody
Oh
wanted to
yeah, well
lose,
yeah, even
and he
like
didn't lose.
sometimes when you don't watch a match for a while, then you watch it again and you're like, and you think it's gonna end one way, and then you remember how it ends, and you're like, how the hell did you book this thing so bullshit? That's like when I watch this match, especially when like DX comes out and the NWO comes out. I'm like, there's no way Sting's gonna lose. Not with the NWO out here, and then it's done.
And then is that one of those things that he should have done something like, for example, like for the Warrior. The Warrior, so that didn't sell the pedigree, 1, 2, 3, done. He should have done the same thing for Sting. His career is always like he's always going to be a 14-time world champion. He's always going to
Oh yeah,
be a 2 Royal Rumble winner, Grand Slam champion, all of that. Do the favor for Sting. His career done that day. And then
yeah,
Seth Rollins, ended
yeah,
up killing him even more. So,
yeah,
Jean Paul, I think this sums it up for this SmackDown.
yeah.
Nothing really of substance, trying to hype us up for Money in the Bank. Hopefully next week they focus on that. I think the show kind of focus more on the Triple H thing. So
Yeah.
next week is going to be probably a little better because it's going to be the week, 2 weeks we have until Money in the Bank. So hopefully a little bit more. We have one more qualifying match for the girls and also for the men. So we'll see what happens on that. So thank you so very much, family, for watching every single one of our videos. Thank you for all the love, support, all the comments that we have in every single one of our social media platforms that are
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're talking about a little bit earlier. Like I said, the developing Velveteen Dream story, any of that stuff. Follow us on any of those 3 other social media outlets, and you'll get the news as soon as it drops.
absolutely correct, Jean Paul. And the weekend, get ready, family, because we have 2 great stuff. So we will be doing that. In these 2 days, we will be promoting it. So we hope that you can support us on that. So Jean Paul, I'll see you tomorrow. And I think we only have one thing left to say, and that is.